with you.
Gal, I really want to ask you about the golden armor, which is something that we've never seen on screen before. It looks fantastic in the movie. I'm curious if you remember the first time that you got to see the design of the golden armor, what it was going to look like.
It was amazing. First of all, when I first saw the sketch of what we're gonna design, it blew my mind. It was so beautiful. And, you know, it's like women and clothes, and it's like, golden armor is not something a woman would ever try on. And I was like, great, I have the best opportunity to try this crazy costume. It took a lot of work in terms of getting the look right and making sure it's still practical so we can move in it. It wasn't the most comfortable, you know, it wasn't like wearing a pajama. There was a lot of things going on. But it was so worth it, and I'm so happy we did it. And Lindy Hemming just did the best work with all the costumes.
Conservative, but not entirely unfun.
I can save today, but you can save the world. Steve. Diana.
I won't reveal how Steve is brought back here. I know that that's something we're keeping for the audience, but I think it's safe to say that at least it allows you to approach him completely differently. It's a fresh interpretation. It's not what you did in the first film. And I'm wondering if you felt that way too, that it allowed you to do different things with him and you didn't have to really worry about messing up what you'd done previously.
Yeah, I really like the version of Steve in the first film is that I love that jaded hero archetype is really fun to play. I mean, that is such a classic cinema guy.
If you see something wrong happening in the world, you can either do nothing or you can do something. And I already tried nothing.
The interesting thing about this version is that this is not a classic cinema guy. This is, or at least in a hero mold. So how do you do that?
I have no idea.
It certainly wasn't, all my gruff guyness was like, no, I want to play the tough guy. But it's a lot of fun. The hard part about playing the kind of fish out of water puppy Labrador who's excited about everything is you have to really you have to play pretend of making sense of, okay, what is a toaster oven, and like what is a Pop-Tart, and what is an elevator, what is an escalator, what's a fucking subway. Like, it's all, you have to completely change your brain and be like, how do you digest this? So there was a lot of fun in doing that.
It's all art.
That just a trash can.
It's just a trash can. Yeah.
Life is good, but it can be better. All you need is to want it.
Pedro, when they called you with an idea to feature you in a Wonder Woman sequel, did you initially think you were getting a chance to dust off Detective Ed Indelicato?
It's such a good question, because I think that because of the impact of the first movie, and then of course the idea of getting to work with Patty Jenkins, it never occurred to me, and I'm glad that it didn't, because I think I probably would have been paranoid if they knew that I had already had a go in a Wonder Woman project. Maybe they didn't know at the time, so yeah, I guess I loved making that pilot, and
did you?
I was really sad. Oh yeah, I was super sad that it didn't get picked up to series, but here we are.
Here you are, exactly. Well, you get to play Maxwell Lord now, who I find to be a truly fascinating and compelling comic book villain, along the lines of a Lex Luthor. And I wish we had a chance to spend more time with him, because there's so much of the character to develop. And so because you do have experience with longer form episodic television, what's an aspect of Max that you just wish you had more time to explore and portray?
It's funny that you asked that, because I think that it was the opposite for me. I think that there was an opportunity to really dive into a really, really incredible arc of a storyline, and the only way to accomplish it, under Patty's vision, was to do it with kind of uncompromising honesty. So I got my fill, actually. more than I have other characters.
That's excellent, because that means it was a rewarding experience.
It felt rewarding.
Nothing good is born from lies. And greatness is not what you think.
There's a moment in this movie where Steve is standing on top of a truck in the desert, and he turns and punches a soldier, and the Foley mixers use a sound that I only know as the Indiana Jones punch. And then I brought it up to Patty, and she mentioned that you guys use Indy as a reference point for Steve often, and I was hoping that you could elaborate on what that means in terms of how you approach the character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've said it basically about every hero I've ever played, is that Harrison Ford's reluctant hero is like my touchstone for pretty much, you know, all of these types of guys.
You have to show a certain amount of vigor.
The humanness of it, and the fact that he always feels like he doesn't want to be there, but he has to be there. The fact that he'll try his hardest, but, you know, getting hit hurts, punching hurts, you know. And that particular sequence always reminded me, and I know I talked to Patty about it, and I think she modeled it after that famous sequence in Raiders. You know, so to shoot in the desert with like tanks and stuff, and to pretend that I'm Indiana Jones is, you know, like essentially my dream. And yeah, I had a whole bit. I think they cut it out, but I had a whole bit planned for, I don't know if they used it, a whole bit planned for the fighting the guy on the top of the thing, and it was like a whack-a-mole, and I'm hitting one guy and his head pops out and then he disappears, and I go look in and then he pulls me in. I forget if it remained in the film, but
The pulling in the whole bit ends, but not the whack-a-mole.
yeah, so that was I love, you know, it's always trying to find the comedy, and like, you know, Trevor thinks that he's one-upped someone, and oh no, he's gonna get his ass kicked somehow.
Well, that's neat.
Because of the groundbreaking streaming deal, a lot of people are going to get to see this movie at home. On Christmas Day, they'll get to press play on it. But something like The Mandalorian has allowed us to get used to seeing stuff at home and better our systems and really learn how to focus on something without distractions. Is that what you've been able to do? Do you have a system at home that you allow yourself to like really focus on something? And do you ever like press play on your Mandalorian episodes as they drop?
I am very, 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 very precious about my TV viewing and my movie experiences. To the point of being obnoxious. You'll get kind of kicked out of a room if you're messing with my movie experience.
It's not a toy.
So I honor that often. I'll turn off my phone.
Stop touching things.
Why is Patty the right choice to make a Star Wars film?
Because she's the best. That's why.
That simple?
Yeah. think of anything that she's made. I mean, you know, Patty can do anything. I think, you know, this is I think it's a gorgeous compliment to one another.
This is a weird compliment, but you are my favorite Spider-Man. I think that you nailed the humor of the character in a way I've never seen before, and he's my favorite. Spider-Man's my favorite character, and the way that you, in a short amount of time, the way you got him to me was majestic.
I appreciate it very much. I had a lot of fun working on that. Those guys are great, and I think what they made was spectacular. I seem to die. I have to get in something where I at least don't die. I think that's my actor challenge for 2021.
No, but you're so good, we find ways to bring you back each time.
Yeah, right. It's just going to become ever more ingenious how you bring me back from the dead.
Do Groundhog Day.
Yeah, there you go. Sure. Oh, God, you can't fuck with that. You can't fuck with that.